2024 tabletop role-playing game. Ask Me Anything. My few favorite things for 2024 and gaming in general. We're doing this silly thing again. We'll see if any of my things have changed. So we're gonna do real fast. We're gonna do all these like monster ones because they're kind of the same thing. So favorite, we did craziest in-game experience. We'll save that for last because we all know that story. Favorite adventure I've ever run. Freeport. I mean the 9-year-long Freeport campaign. Favorite dungeon type location. Haunted Mines. I love Dinosaur Jungle Pirate Island for a setting. I think Dinosaur Jungle Pirate Island, Cholt, Tomb of Annihilation, just that Saturday morning cartoon, Land of the Lost, is the most D&D thing you can get. So, but my favorite dungeon type is probably Haunted Mines. Favorite trap puzzle, the 10-foot pit. I mean, you know, tried and true, really. Just the 10-foot pit is really all you need. You don't need ridiculous Rube Goldberg, grim tooth traps. And really, who would go to all the trouble of building that? That seems like a lot of work, right? When just simple is best. A pit, you pull the wrong thing, something heavy falls on you, something to trap them inside. It doesn't have to be really complicated. So just simple traps because players are more likely to miss them. Favorite NPC type or favorite NPC I've ever run? Favorite NPC, obviously, either it would be Young Keg, who is 22 years old and still loved to dance, or Domo the Kobold. Favorite undead, zombies and skeletons. Because it's just, you know, anything could be a zombie, anything could be a skeleton. Wraiths, I guess, you know, Borrowates, because there's a bit of tragedy to them, you know, and any undead that can, you know, incapacitate a character in unusual ways. So yeah, it would be zombies and skeletons first, wraiths probably second. I'm not a big fan of the vampire. Favorite ooze, all of them. Favorite animal, insect, arachnid. Giant insects. You don't see enough giant insects in D&D. I always try and throw in one every now and then, or dinosaurs, you know, but, you know, giant insects are a classic, you know, of early horror. You would think you would run into more giant centipedes and stuff in dungeons, but you really don't. Favorite planner being creature. I don't know. What does that even mean? Creature from another plane? Imps, I guess. Favorite elemental plant construct. Of the 4 elementals, earth. Of the construct types, homunculus. Of the plants, I don't know, I like cactus. Favorite humanoid, giant fairy. Favorite humanoid, goblins. Favorite giant type, ogres. Favorite fairy type, I don't really have one. Puck from Midsummer's. Favorite dragon, red. Favorite monster overall, slime. Least favorite monster overall. Least favorite monster overall. Vampires. Favorite spell. Oof. Fireball. Favorite magic item. I don't know if I have one. Rod of Lord of the Might. Favorite mundane item. 51 feet of rope. Favorite curse or cursed item. Cursed items where you don't know they're cursed. You think they're doing one thing, but they're actually doing something else. And if you can get that working between the player and the DM, where the player is, you know, acting on the curse without acting on the curse. I came close once with when I had a character who had Ring of Delusions, or whatever it was. I forget what it was, but it was like you would see one thing, but no, Ring of Contradiction. So you would see one thing and think it was the other thing. So if something was angry at you, you would think it was a friend. Stuff like that. It would contradict. If somebody told you to do one thing, you'd do the other thing. So I had to play that knowing that I had the ring, but I also had to play the character as if he didn't know he was having the ring. So I had to be contradictory without making it known to the other players that I was cursed. There was just thing weird going on with the character, because the DM told me, but I had to promise that I wouldn't act on the information that I knew that I had a ring of contradiction. I was acting as if the ring did something else. I believe it was like something like wisdom or perception. Like, there was, I don't know. It was like, there's something where I thought I saw something and it wasn't what it was, but I had to play it off as if it was something else and then try and convince them what I saw was the contradiction. It was weird. It's hard to put into words, but yeah. So if you could give a cursed character an item, let the player know in some way or another that especially if the curse affects their personality. If it's just like a curse, like, disadvantage, then that's just something you can metagame behind the screen as the DM. But if it's the curse, it's something that actually affects the player in a way that, is psychologically or physically, but they don't know it, that's really hard. But if you can pull that off, then more power to you. So yeah, PCs I have sworn off playing. None. I mean, I'll play anything. Most frequently rolled number on a D20. $11. I don't know. It's a hard one to think of. Like, I don't know. Who keeps track of that? I'm sure there probably is somebody. It probably is like a spreadsheet. In 2023, in March, I rolled 37 sevens, 42 threes. I mean, there probably is somebody who's keeping, And if you do keep track of that, if that's what your obsessive compulsiveness needs to keep you happy and keep you at the table, more power to you. I, on the other hand, barely pay attention to the numbers. I've even rolled natural 20s and not noticed until somebody else told me. That's just my dyslexia. I was like, once the dice leave my hands, I don't care. It's like, I rolled a 9. Does that count? And then, if I remember that I get bonuses. So there we go. I went through that one because, those are all things that don't require an entire day to talk about or an entire video to talk about. My answers are pretty much localized, right? I like utility things. I like, which is why I like Slime and Undead so much. I like simple things that should be there anyways. I don't want my traps to be overly complex, because either they'll become frustrated trying to deal with it, or I'll become frustrated because they're not dealing with it, or it's just so utterly complex and ridiculous that sooner or later they either give up or somebody questions, like, why is this here? I mean, I can't be the only person who, through the years of going through Dungeons and Dragons and encountering ridiculous traps, has bothered to go, why is this here? Why did he build this? What point does this serve? The only time that justifies, obviously, is Tomb of Horrors and Tomb of Annihilation, because it's stated in the personality of the Sarasak, the lich that builds these things, that he does it because he can. It's basically his way of having fun. It's kind of like his way of testing experiments, and once you understood that about a Sarasak, which they didn't really explain in Tomb of Horrors, but they explained later in magazines and articles on a Sarasak, and I'm probably saying his name wrong. And of course, they explained it in Tomb of Annihilation that this is just what he does for fun. And this is how he gets experience, how he adventures. He doesn't really care if he kills you or not. Bonus. But, he's not doing it to kill you. He's doing it to see how people react to the traps and the tricks and the weirdness and how well they, work. And if they work, great. And if they don't work, then he knows that the next time he needs to change it to see if it works. He's an experimenter. He's a scientist. He's got hypotheses. Some of them are ridiculous. Like, how many people will actually stick their head in this sphere of annihilation? Probably none. And then he's like, wait, like 80 people? Why do people keep sticking their head in the sphere of annihilation? You think after a while they would have realized, but no, it still works. So yeah, stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, I'm a simple man, I guess. So there you go. We've got some more of these, but it's Christmas Eve, so we'll get the easy ones out. And then we'll move on to the harder ones as we end off the year, like best story, best player, best GM, worst story, worst player, worst GM, that kind of stuff. But, for now, that's the way to wrap it up for Christmas Eve. So it's Christmas Eve. It's December 24th. Hopefully you are all healthy and happy and warm and safe and surrounded in the companies of people who appreciate you. Friends and family, whether they be family by blood or family by situation. If there's people in your life whose company you enjoy and who make you feel like you're appreciated, I hope you are spending time with them on the holidays. At this, the most wonderful time of year and the most depressing time of the year. I will talk to you probably not tomorrow, but the day after, because it's Christmas. So I don't know what my Christmas plans are. I assume it'll be the usual, which with my family is not always great. So yeah, till next time, have a great day. Now I'm going to play a song.